Merry Christmas Eve and Happy Holidays, my fellow Chibits, and just in case you live in a different time zone and it's already Christmas Day for where you live, I wish you a great Christmas Day, and if you even don't celebrate it, I still wish you a great day, and I wish you a very great rest of the year and many years to come. Now, with that being said, let us talk about March Comes In Like a Lion. And it's such a fitting episode for this time of year, for Christmas Eve. I know not everybody celebrates it, but even for the occasion, it's such a great episode to kind of conclude the year off on. This episode was so heartwarming, so touching, and it just really shows us how good a family really is. And that is what we see Ray learn in this episode. There's constantly episodes throughout March Comes In Like a Lion. It goes back and forth between heartwarming episodes to episodes that just break your heart and it's just very tragic. That's kind of the theme of March Comes In Like a Lion. It constantly shifts back and forth between these two types of episodes. And this episode focuses on a happier theme and family. Even though it kind of starts off dark and grim, it looks like Ray's by himself. He is at the end of the year and he's sick and nobody's there to help him out. He feels like he's alone. He doesn't want to get up. It starts off very grim, but then it opens up because he has people around him that truly do care about him. And it's not just him benefiting from hanging out with Akriti and her sisters. It's also Akriti and them benefiting from Ray as well being around. And it's not just a one-sided relationship you see taking place in this episode. And it shows that Ray actually fits in. He is really helpful with this family. He's not someone that's just leeching off them. He's not someone that's useless and they're just helping him out because they want to help him out because they're nice people. Ray's helping them out as well. When he's there and he's in their presence, he's helping them keep their mind off of things, helping them just, have a fun time, smile and laugh, and just, have a family. And that's exactly what happened in this episode. And I like the depiction of what Ray was saying. Like he says at the end of the episode, why do I feel so comfortable? Why do I think back to those times with my mother and all that? Why do I think back to these times? And I mean, why do I feel like I could just pass out and everything would be completely fine, even though I'm in someone else's house and they're not really my family? Why do I feel like this? To be honest, it's in human nature to want to be with people. It's like, when you're around people, you can tend to be happy. And, family, it's kind of how it is. He wants a family. He wants people to be around. No matter how much he tries to deny it, no matter how much he wants to push people away, no matter how much he wants to just run away and stay away from everybody because he doesn't want to, destroy them, he still wants people around him. He still wants a family, and you see that displayed throughout this episode, especially with how he hangs out with Akriti. Even though he's sick majority of the episode, and it seems like Akriti's helping him out, Momo's helping him out and all that, you can see how he's truly helping him out. When Akriti opens up and states, like, I would probably be crying if you weren't here right now, I'd be all by myself cleaning up and stuff, I'd be sad, tears coming down my eyes, I'm like, that's pretty fucked up, because, you gotta remember this, when you're by yourself, the mind tends to wander. That's how it works. Have you ever been in a situation where if you have a lot of time to think, your mind could just wander off and think of either very good things or very bad things, depending on the situation, whatever's going on? If you have something on your mind that's negative, your mind's going to wander towards that, and you're just going to be focused on that, and you're just going to be thinking about some really bad shit when, something negative happened in your life and you're by yourself. And the same could be said for happy stuff. For instance, if something happy happened and you're by yourself, your mind could tend to wander towards that. And that's kind of what Akriti was stating in this episode. She was like, if I was by myself, my mind would wander off, and I would, think about all the bad things, even though I'm having such a good time. I won't be able to see what is in front of me. I'll just think of all the negatives. And I do like that. I really do like that depiction, because that's kind of how humans work in the first place. We think about negative things sometimes, or positive things, depending on whatever's happening in our lives, if we're by ourselves. And if we have people around us, we could stay distracted, we could stay happy, we could just, talk and have communication. And so, I like that. I really like the display of some of the themes throughout this episode, and how Ray was able to feel like he was a part of a family. And even though we know he has a difficult relationship with his stepfather, and we know he has a difficult, relationship with his family, like his foster family, you see that they still do care about him. At the very least, his foster father cares about him. He actually calls Ray multiple times while Ray is sick, and Ray's phone's off, it's dead, and, he can't answer it, get up, or anything, because he's just been that sick. And it just shows you how much Ray's father does care. He does care, even though Ray, he beat him in shogi, that's his job, he beat him at his own job, but on top of that, he kind of left him, and he also kind of messed with the relationship as a family. he still cares enough about Ray. You see how he calls him. He was worried. He even stated in this episode if Ray wouldn't have called him and all that, he was going to head over there to his house to make sure he was completely fine. So it shows you someone that does have compassion. He does care. Even though from the little expressions we saw from him throughout, his character being displayed throughout the anime, March Comes In Like a Lion, it does seem like he does have a lot of emotions for Ray. He does really care about him. He does care about his well-being. And I mean, he just wishes probably Ray would be a little bit more open to him. And you could see that he just wishes, Ray wouldn't be like he is. Like he would, open up and just be more accepting of everything that happened. And you can see that. You can definitely see the way the father was just very worried about him, wanting to call him and all that, and he was going to head over there if he didn't answer. It's someone that truly does care. It's not someone that, doesn't care. I mean, let's think about this, okay? If someone didn't care, honestly, they wouldn't take the time to call you. They wouldn't. I mean, if someone did not give a shit about you, especially at that time of year, they wouldn't give you a call. They wouldn't give you multiple calls. I mean, maybe they might give you one call just out of obligation, but I mean, giving you like 2, 3, 5 calls, that's someone that does care. That's someone that doesn't want to ignore you. It's someone that does care about your well-being, and they want to make sure you're fine. And so we can at least say one thing. The father, the foster father of Ray, he's a good man. He is definitely a good man. I mean, he was a good man adopting Ray in the first place, but he's definitely a good man just for being able to call this man and ask him, is he okay and stuff, even though there's a lot of complicated feelings between these two. So with that being said, let's talk about Akurei and her family. So we get a little bit of characterization of Akurei's family and how whatever has happened in the past with her father, they don't speak about him much. They speak about the mother, the grandma, but they don't speak about the father, which is very concerning because we don't really know what exactly happened completely to Akurei's family. We don't know really anything at all, but I mean, whatever has happened has something to do with the father, because the father's never mentioned when they're talking about, their deceased parents or anyone they care about. They never talk about their father, which that's the strange part about it. You would think at this time of year, if you're going to be talking about your grandma and your mother, you would talk about your father as well, but they didn't even really mention him in this episode, and Ray keyed in on this. He's like, this family must have something wrong with the father or whatever, because they never mention him. He's excluded from all conversation. I don't know if this means that the father was a shitty person, or if this person was just a good person, the way he died or whatever is just very tragic. I mean, we don't really know, but if I had to assume, I assume probably the father was shitty, because, I mean, let's think about what happened earlier on in the episode, and how this series likes to play with themes, especially tragic themes and happy themes. Usually it shifts back and forth, and if we look at Ray's foster father cared for him completely. I even just talked about that in this video, and then if you go to after that scene, you have it to where Ray mentions, their father, how they never mention him. Most likely, we have a balance going on here. You have it to where Ray's father, his foster father, really cares about him, but most likely Akurei and their father and all that, they don't really care. Like, he never cared about them at all, and that's probably why they never mention him, and so it's kind of like balancing out the happy theme that we got with Ray. They have this negative theme going on, especially with, the father, how most likely they don't want to mention him because he was probably a shitty person. So yeah, overall, I do have to say that March Comes In Like a Lion had a very solid episode this week, and I mean, it's just a great way to conclude 2016. I mean, it really is, and so I can't wait to see the continuation of this series in, winter of anime 2017. I mean, I just can't believe that, it's already almost the end of a year, and this series is like, halfway over already. It's crazy. Time really does fly. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you all feel about this week's episode of March Comes In Like a Lion? Did you enjoy the themes we got? Did you enjoy the family, just vibe we got throughout this episode? Please let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below. And once again, I want to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And depending on when you watch this or where you live, I still wish you all many, many great years to come. I love you all. Please be safe. Chibi out.